Hey guys, you ever watch a show, excuse me, called The Angry Astronaut? This guy talks a lot of SpaceX stuff and things that are going on with SpaceX, and he's always wearing sunglasses, and it annoys the living hell out of me for some reason. I will put on the regular glasses. I'm going to try and tell you a little story. This goes out to those that don't know our story, the MMTLP crowd. Now, I'm going to do a simplified version of this. I want those that haven't, oh wow, look at the glare on the glasses. I want those that don't understand the story to understand the story, and those that think they understand the story to understand the story in a more simplified way. And the reason why I'm thinking of it this way is because I grew up in an industry that believed in the least sophisticated consumer. So in other words, I don't like that glare at all. Same glare, but you can see. Alright, so the least sophisticated consumer. What this meant was that whatever I said on the phone was going to be held to a legal standard where the average or below average person, below average thinking person, and what they would assume what I was saying to be true. Everything that I said had to be said so that the least sophisticated consumer would understand what I'm saying. And we were held to that standard. Or you'd be sued, and the judge would look at it from the standpoint of what was meant by this, and what would the average or even below average thinking person think that this was meant by, what was meant by this conversation. What were you trying to convey here? So, I apologize this morning. I'm having a little trouble here with my head. But long story short is, I don't know what it was now, a couple of years ago, a lot of people bought a stock called Torchlight. And the shorts shorted it heavily. And watch another video on shorts if you want to learn about shorts. But long story short is there's the people that are betting that the company does bad. They make money if the price goes down, where the average person that just buys stocks wants the price to go up. And we bought this stock because it was an oil play. So those that are saying this was a meme stock, and I've seen some crap that's been out there lately about this supposedly MMTLP being a meme stock. This is untrue. It was always backed by oil, and you don't get less meme than that. Granted, a lot of people jumped in it at the end, like from Reddit and other places like that, which may have made it seem like a meme stock. Oh, crazy here, but it was never a meme stock. Torchlight offered a dividend where you could get more. I'm sorry, vision's all blurry here. You could get the dividend was more stock, and what happened was that all went through its process, got closed down, and then when our stock was supposed to be given to us, all of a sudden we started looking at our portfolios when we saw this MMTLP thing. I'm like, what is that? And it was priced at really cheap, I don't know, $1 or $2. And we thought, that's our dividend? We had to hold our Torchlight to a certain point where certain dates, like you normally do have to when you get a dividend. And then most of us sold it or held on to it. But either way, when that part of it might have been a little memeish, but not really, because, you know, again, it was backed by oil. Well, long story short, MMTLP came around, and we found out later on that that was not our dividend. That was some market makers illegally figured out a way to manipulate the system to reopen up our stock, which again is kind of like our dividend, but not really. Which made no sense because our dividend really never got paid out. I guess the MMTLP, by illegally being opened up, was supposed to be our dividend. That might be part of the reason. This thing gets very complicated, but I'm trying to simplify it. Let's keep it simple. Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. Alright, so, long story short is, and I'm going to say that a lot and then make this long-winded. The stock itself, an S1 came out, and we were told, and this is after it illegally traded for almost a year, and FINRA and the SEC, and nobody did anything about it. But an S1 came out that said that the stock itself was going to trade until the 12th, and then would be shut down on the 14th. Deleted, shut down, closed out, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. Because the least sophisticated consumer understood this, that it would be stopped on the 12th and then closed out on the 14th. Well, what happened was on the 8th, FINRA did a U3 halt. And they said, because, you know, things were crazy and they couldn't figure nothing out and they had no choice. So they U3 halted us. And then later on, what happened was, the S1, a lot of the paperwork got changed. A lot of people are forgetting that it was supposed to close on the 12th and then be deleted or removed on the 14th. A lot of people, especially people that are looking into this, aren't mentioning that. And there's a reason for that. Is FINRA went back and changed everything. They deleted some things, they rewrote some things, but long story short is when you go back later on to look at it, it looks like it was just supposed to stop on the 12th. See, the 14th allowed for what's called T2, which was a 2-day period for everything to close out properly. And that's why it was written in the S1 originally. And the 14th gave us that T2, which is a part of what happens with trades and stuff. Is you got to allow 2 days for that, for everything to close out properly. And, well, that disappeared and got removed and deleted from all kinds of stuff that you could look up. And they stuck with their guns when they closed it out on the 8th, which was after the business, closing business on the 8th, which was a Thursday. Now, before that, actually, the 6th, we went from like $2 to $13. Then the 7th, the price of the stock got cut in half. And then on the 8th, before it closed, it got cut all the way down to $2 and something. So we were up to 12 or 13 bucks at one point, which made sense because it was on the 8th, and according to everything that was written, we were going to be trading into the 12th, and the stock should have easily gone up until, you know, a ridiculous amount of money based upon all the shorts that were supposed to have to close their positions. The shorts never closed their position under Torchlight, and they never closed their position under MMTLP. Because FINRA, U3 halted it 2 days before it was supposed to close, which was on the 12th, which was 2 days before it was supposed to be removed or deleted, which was on the 14th. But again, it's becoming harder and harder to find forums on that. But there's a lot of people that were making YouTube videos, that have that information. That information just doesn't go away. Well, in the meantime, you have FINRA. Everything they've done has been to procrastinate, and to push this out further and further, because the longer you push something out, the more people have a tendency to forget about it and or not remember the information correctly. The thing with MMTLP and our MetaFam is we've been documenting things since the beginning, since before December 8th, 2022. As a matter of fact, if you go on my YouTube channel, you'll see there was videos weeks and months before that. Because of the excitement of the build-up. You'll get a general idea, even though it wasn't very specific in a lot of my videos. Although if you go to Terry Yonkers, if you go to Tony at Market Moves, rest in peace, and if you go to a lot of these other sites, you'll find a lot more specifics on the details. And you'll see that there's a reason why there was FINRA fraud. Hashtag FINRA fraud was trending for many, many months. Now you have all these so-called experts now that are telling us that everything that went down didn't go down the way we say it went down, which is inaccurate and it's not true. In the meantime, we've had several lawsuits that have been delayed with judges that wouldn't make decisions forever, and then when they finally did, they found little loopholes so they could make decisions to try to protect the rich. We have hundreds of Twitters, Xers, whatever you want to call them now, that have been working on this from the Senate and Congress standpoint, and they're actually getting some headway. You got some other people talking about this class action lawsuit, which I'll tell you, in my opinion, we don't want to get involved in at all. You know, just if you were to get a general class action lawsuit with a company that's worth a couple $100 million, you're still looking at a 3 to 5 year period. Unlike FINRA and other government entities like SEC and stuff like that, we get involved in that, this is going to go on forever. They'd probably love that. All that's going to do is push this out forever. You know, and that's the whole point of the reason why FINRA has admitted to just very little during the course of this last year since the U3 halt, but not much. The reason why is because what they have admitted to was an accident, I assure you. But in the meantime, I got, now this is where my conspiracy theory comes up. We've got a lot of people a lot of investors that have passed on since then. And if you think about it, if things are the way a lot of us are thinking, a lot of us think that there might be anywhere from I don't know, I guess the small estimates are saying half a billion naked shares out there. There's some of us that think there's almost 2 billion naked shares out there. There could be trillions of dollars involved here. Not billions, but trillions. And if that's the case, from a conspiracy theory standpoint, it's a lot easier to get rid of people. I mean, people have been gotten rid of for millions, let alone billions, let alone trillions. You know, you push things out long enough, people die of natural causes and or not natural causes. And there's other people at the top that could easily get paid off. I'm not saying any of this is going on, but I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, if you're talking about something that has a suspicious $1 trillion amount that could be involved here, things have happened for a lot less. I knew someone that worked in a cab company. They got killed over like $20. You know, there's a lot of things that happen. I think that those of you that are involved in MMTLP, we all need to stick together. Hashtag MetaFam, hashtag MetaWarriors. I think those of you that don't understand about MMTLP, you need to look into it more. This runs a lot deeper than just an investment. And there are those out there that would have you believe that we were just a bunch of dumb investors that got trapped into a meme stock. Again, this is not true. And right now, just for a little update for my investors that are sticking with me on this video so far, they made this big push, the brokers did, that we can easily push our shares into AST. Well, more and more investors are now finding out that the brokers, things aren't as simple as they seem. There's a lot of people having a hard time getting their shares into AST. And where the brokers act like, oh, no, it'd be no big deal. It'd be really simple, easy to do. Some people are finding it's not so easy to do right now. Some are getting pushed into AST, some aren't. But we were told that the AST boat was full like a long time ago. By FINRA, I believe. You know, it's really worth it to go back in though and watch as many of these videos as you can. Although it's getting harder and harder because we are being shadow banned. I mean, I know a lot of YouTubers that have been talking about MMTLP have been getting less and less views, and it isn't because people are getting bored of the subject. You know, the subject matter has been is more interesting than ever before, and you'll see the Twitter space calls are getting smaller and smaller too. There's definitely some shadow banning going on. There's the Richie Riches out there don't want our message getting out. And all I can ask you to do is anytime you hear anything about MMTLP, hit that like button. And we'll try to help work with the algorithm here. But, you know, hit the share button. Hit hashtag MMTLP, hashtag MetaFam, hashtag MetaWarriors. And put that on everything, all your tweets and everything that you do. Look into it deeper. Try to understand it. Try to follow it on Twitter. Because this affects us all. There's a lot of people with retirement funds and stuff that got all caught up into this too. And this is one of those investments that's going to change everything. Not just for us investors, but it's going to change the way that the retail market is handled, the way that it's regulated, the way that things go from here. And those Richie Riches of the world would like nothing more than to keep things the same. And it's going to be up to you and me and everybody involved here, and anyone that's going to be involving in the future, to make a positive change and to understand that there's nefarious things going on there. MMTLP is backed. It's now NextBridge. NextBridge is backed by oil. Right now, NextBridge is asking all their people to put all their shares into AST. And a lot of investors are having problems getting their shares into AST. And many of us believe that there could be a couple billion shares out there, which could absolutely devastate, the financial community, the financial world shit. It can affect everything. But that doesn't mean that those of us that invested in it should get screwed here. Change needs to come. And, hashtag, I don't know. There's so many hashtags out there, it's not even funny. What's the blue sheet one? Hashtag give us the blue sheets or something like that. I don't know, let's make that one. I've been putting so many hashtags on things for the last, I think it's 257 days now, 258, 260, I don't know. That's how long this U3 halt's gone on. It's time for something to happen here, and FINRA needs to make it happen. Right now, actually, it looks like it's gonna. We've got a lot of Congress people getting involved here. Yeah. But the thing that you can do is keep passing the word on. If you are an investor, not an investor, get on Twitter and start listening to some of them shows, them space calls, and start following people that have MMTLP. Now, if you type MMTLP, I guarantee you'll find a lot of people. And you might want to help us send some letters to Congress and help get on board with this, because your children's future is involved here. Your retirement is involved here. The way that we invest and do things is involved here. And it's important that we keep this message going on and that we make some decent change, in the retail market. Thank you. Pass the word on.